Yeah, everybody, we just wait a
Hello.
few minutes
Hello,
to
good
get going.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Giovanni. We wait a few minutes just to be sure that all people receive the invitation, join us.
Okay, good.
Just a couple of minutes.
Can you see whether Mr. Ströber is in the call?
Yes, Ms. Struber is already online.
Okay, thank you. So Enrico, I would say 1 more minute to wait, or what do you think?
But I think that we just wait 1 minute and then we can start with your introduction in German. Okay, thank you, Manfred.
Okay, thank you.
I think that we can start.
Okay, Enrico, though, I will start. Well, ich sage erst mal auf Deutsch guten Morgen an alle in der Runde. Herzlich willkommen zu unserem Webinar heute. Wir wollen heute das Thema Saudi-Arabien mal in den Mittelpunkt stellen und haben dafür auch einige Experten in der Runde. Und wir werden dann später auch ins Englische überwechseln. Ja, Stichwort Saudi-Arabien, wie die ganze arabische Halbinsel ja ein Wachstumsmarkt, eine Region, die sehr, sehr stark vorankommt und interessant wird und sehr aktiv ist. Das zeigt sich ja nicht zuletzt auch gerade aktuell politisch, wenn man jetzt an die Verhandlungen denkt, USA, Ukraine, auch die finden in Riyadh in Saudi-Arabien statt. Also das Land rückt immer stärker in den Fokus und es war auch für uns ein Grund, uns damit zu beschäftigen. Und umso interessanter war eine Aktivität, die die Firma Honegger mit Sitz in Mailand, uns lange bekannt über die GDS, entwickelt hat und über die wir heute mit Ihnen uns austauschen möchten. Wir wollen das mal aus erster Hand auch von der Firma Honegger uns anhören. Geplant ist eine Messe im Oktober. Einige von Ihnen haben sich schon angemeldet, beziehungsweise haben zumindest Interesse bekundet, an dieser Messe teilzunehmen. Und von daher bin ich sehr froh, dass wir die Treiber des Projektes, Herrn Enrico Fasola und Simona, heute mit an Bord haben und Sie uns dann Details berichten können von der Veranstaltung. Und damit das Ganze noch ein bisschen interessanter für Sie wird, haben wir auch eine Mitgliedsfirma vom HDSL gebeten, die Firma Ströber. Herr Ströber ist, meine ich, schon mit im Call. Die Firma hat schon lange Kontakte und Erfahrungen, auch Geschäftstätigkeiten in Saudi-Arabien. Und Herr Ströber hat mir gesagt, er würde auch ein paar Sätze sagen über seine Erfahrungen in diesem Land. Und ich denke, das nützt Ihnen allen, wenn wir da aus erster Hand auch nochmal aus Sicht eines Schuhherstellers etwas hören werden. Well, I switch to English now. Enrico and Simona, I just said a few words in German to talk about what we are going to do during our webinar. And I said that you, the company Honegger, has made an initiative to establish a fair in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia, at the end of the year in October. And we look forward that what you can tell us about this event, which is planned for October. And I also mentioned that we have Mr. Schröber on board in the web conference today. He has some experience in Saudi Arabia, as you know, and he can later also tell us some words about his experiences in Saudi Arabia. And then, of course, everybody has a chance to ask you questions, and we can have a short discussion within our round to get as much information as possible about the new event. But now I would say, Enrico, it's up to you. You have the word, and please inform us about the planning of the Riyadh event.
Thank you, Manfred, for your kind introduction about Honegger Company and also about the trade show that we are organizing in Saudi. Honegger Company is here represented by me. I'm the marketing and communication with the holding Honegger Group. Simona Cantoni is our general manager, and Christian Perez is our guardian angel because he is our IT manager that support us and give us the opportunity to share with all of you this information. I would like to thank you, all of us, for joining us. Honegger Company is based here in Milan. Milan is the headquarters. Of course, we have a branch in Europe, in Düsseldorf, in Paris, and in London. And we have also our joint venture company that is Riyadh Exhibition Company, the first trade show organizer in Saudi Kingdom, established in the kingdom since 40 years and owned by, let me say, that the major stakeholder is the royal family. This is an important information to give to you because to approach this kind of country, all, let me say, the new project related to the develop of new sector and new business are strong, let me say, related to the ministry and to the royal family. At our joint company in Riyadh, there is also Mr. Giovanni Franciosi. Mr. Giovanni Franciosi recently joined us. He came from the fashion distribution system in many years. So I think that together with Mr. Strober, that we thanks to join us, they will share with all the company from both, let me say, point of view, how is going on in the fashion distribution system actually in Saudi Arabia. So I think that we can start in sharing some information about, let me say, the markets and all the information that you should need to know before to understand the importance about our trade show named Saudi Lifestyle Week, including 3 parallel trade show. There are Saudi Fashion, Saudi Sportswear, and Saudi Design. And this event will be held from 6 to 8 October 2025. This is the first edition because in the kingdom, since now there is no, let me say, a B2B international trade show like with the same format that we are used to attend in our old countries. And as I mentioned to you, Riyadh Exhibition Company is also owned by the royal family and the Ministry of Culture, Saudi Ministry of Culture, that is our main patronage, asked us to introduce in the kingdom the new B2B international trade show, because this is the right moment to create a business relation between international player in fashion and local player in fashion. When we are talking about local player in fashion, we are not just talking about a lending market as all the other countries belonging to the JCC. But Saudi Arabia is a country where is going to develop a whole fashion ecosystem from the producer to the distributors. So I would like to share with you the presentation. As we put in the best way. So, as I mentioned to you before, when we are talking about Saudi Arabia, we have to put the attention to some key elements that, let me say, put the difference comparing Saudi Arabia with all the other Arabic countries. This is the bigger country in the Western area. We are talking about a size of 2.15 million square kilometers. And the population is composed by 36 million of resident people. So we are talking about 36 million in which the 90% is Saudi resident people. The 70% of the Saudi resident people in Saudi Arabia is composed by young targets. So we are talking about people under 30. This is a crucial, let me say, information to keep in mind when we think about the strategy of develop of any kind of new business in that part of the world. Benchmarking with the composition of the population of all the other country well known in terms of business from JCC like Emirates or Qatar or Bahrain, where let me say the major target goal is composed by expat with a certain power of buying. When we put the attention to Saudi Arabia, we have to consider that the most part of our target is Saudi, and Saudi is a multi-layer society. That means that we have several kind of opportunity for products and brands that has a different sales strategy in the market, because there is the right niche at the moment for any kind of collection with any kind of prices. In the next page, also supported by our local colleague Giovanni, we will, let me say, stress the attention about this kind of difference in terms of multi-target distribution system in the wholesale. Focus on the multi-brand that are already present into the market and check, of course, the different kind of multi-brand shops that have different kind of end prices and targets. So I think that it's really important to notice to you that let me say the right consequence about all the mega project behind the Vision 2030 program has a landing in several business fields that are going to develop really fast in the kingdom. So the Ministry of Culture, that is the ministry behind the organization of all the trade show in the kingdom, in the last 2 years has a lot of partnership with the major trade show organizer in the world, like Informa, for example, DMG, and all the other international players, because they ask to bring to the kingdom new exhibition in order to create the right platform to put together international company with the Saudi players. And for what concern in general, what is going on in that part of the world, considering all the country belonging to the JCC, we also have to consider that all the new business related to the exhibition industry are moved from Dubai to Riyadh, because Riyadh will be in the next year from now until 2030. It will be, let me say, the hub of reference for all the business related to the Gulf country. About the population, another important things to stress and to share with you is that each resident people from a survey, we noticed this figure that each resident people has in their pocket as a surplus budget and availability that come from 15 to 18,000 US dollar per person to spend in, let me say, leisure activities. Leisure activities, probably until some years ago, were just related as a personal gratification to, let me say, the buying luxury goods, because there was no other, let me say, activities in the kingdom to improve the quality of life. That's the reason why all the luxury brands are already established in the kingdom with several doors in several key cities, because that was, let me say, the final goal to expand the surplus budget. But in the last 5 years, the kingdom has a lot of change to improve the quality of life of resident people in their own country. So the kingdom developed more and more hotspots for vacation in the seaside and also on the mountain. They developed more and more structure for let me say, related to the well-being to the people. So there are a lot of gym, there are a lot of area dedicated to several sports disciplines. A lot of, let me say, international sports racing are hosted by the kingdom, as well as the main concert will be more and more hosted in the kingdom. Why I tell you that? Because, of course, this kind of surplus availability could be spent in several fields at the moment. And that, for that reason, Saudi people are no longer interested in spend all their budget for the fashion with the luxury brands. This phenomenon started to, let me say, to be more and more under the spotlights, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And in that time, all the fast fashion players went to the kingdom and opened several doors. Just to give you an example, Zara and H&M has just in Riyadh at least 25 doors, because at the moment there is a gap into the distribution market related to the wholesale that is going to develop really, really fast, because Saudi people are now looking for the brands that stay in the middle. There are the brands that we are used to move all over the world to the trade show. So the wholesale is, let me say, the key focus of this project. And of course, we are going to check every month a new multi-brand is going to start the operation in Saudi Kingdom. So this is, let me say, the focus on the distribution market where we orient a B2B international trade show. So I will share with you, of course, at the end of this presentation, we will send all the the charts that we are going to share with you right now. So you will have also the chance to check all the other details. But just to put directly on the focus, Saudi Arabia markets is projected to reach nearly $60 billion by 2025. Multiple opportunity exist to export fashion items, leather goods, accessories, footwear, and sports-related apparel from Europe to Saudi market. There are also some interesting opportunity for the local manufacturers. So about retail system, we are talking about, let me say, 962,000 square meter of total retail space that has been developed until the end of 2024 in the main urban city like Riyadh, Jeddah, Mecca, and Medina. So how is composed this interesting turnover about 60 billion of dollars? The 50% of this turnover is made by leather goods that include shoes and leather accessories. This is a very, very interesting, let me say, figure. After the second step, the second place is occupied by the woman apparel, followed by textile, and then men youth apparel. So kids is also, let me say, a very interesting share, and then accessories made in textile and sportswear. So now I would like to pass the tongue to my colleague based in Riyadh, Giovanni. Thank you, Giovanni, because we would
Yes,
like
Enrico.
to give you some case study really fresh about some example of multi-brand store and then some example of shopping mall. So please, Giovanni.
Thank you, Enrico. I am continuing the presentation in describing the current retail scenario in Riyadh, which is pretty much fresh and pretty much updated like 2 or 3 weeks ago with the last grand opening of the most luxurious mall now in Riyadh, which is the Solitaire Mall. But I'm getting there. Let's just start with so I mean it's a continuing work in progress because I'm sure you know and you're aware about all the giga projects and all the exciting development process that is going on in Saudi Arabia and in Riyadh in particular. I live and operate in Riyadh in 3 years now, and over the course of 3 years, I was experiencing like a lot of new developments and openings. Like normally in other countries, it takes 10 or 20 years. So just to give you an idea of what's going on and what and in a hurry way here in Riyadh. But anyway, this scenario here is pretty much updated, as you will check it from the presentation. So starting with Harvey Nichols, I guess there's no need to introduce Harvey Nichols because you all know the famous department store, which is founded and owned by a member of the royal family here in Riyadh, and Westerly then it's like call it a little sister of Harvey Nichols. So with the same concept of department store in beauty and fashion, and also the average prices, it's as you can check, is about the same as Harvey Nichols. Continuing with Rubaiyat, Rubaiyat as the historical landmark here in Riyadh and in Saudi Arabia, as you may know, it was pretty much the first department store and the first distribution company established here in Saudi Arabia. And especially in Riyadh, they are really an institution. In Jeddah, sorry, in Jeddah, they are really an institution because they have an impressive store in Jeddah. And also, yeah, the average price of the clothing, footwear, and handbags here is pretty much toward the premium brands and the premium high-end brands. Continuing with Muaz, Muaz is the last addition when it comes to multi-brand stores. It was founded and supported by Sela, that is the event company funded by the PIF, by the private investment fund of KSA. And Muaz is a peculiar concept because it's pretty much, I mean, they want to be like the Selfridges of Saudi Arabia. So they have this ambition. And as you can see from the average prices, they are positioned a bit higher than the previous ones because they pretty much carry couture houses, both local, both Saudi, and both international. So they might go to really higher price points for this reason. Al Gharawi is the opposite. So I'm sure many of your brands are also positioned in the medium range, and Al Gharawi is in this case is definitely the destination because it's average prices here are medium low, so it means that it's exposed to all the medium class crowd because, as Enrico was mentioning earlier, Saudi Arabia is, I mean, they have a massive population compared to the other GCC countries. So that means that there's not just wealthy people here. There's not just HNWI, but there's also like a medium class that want to approach clothing and accessories. And so Al Gharawi might be the right destination for a medium price range product. We create is a peculiar concept because it's probably the first hybrid concept store here in Riyadh, because it's based on local brands, on Saudi brands, but also starting to be exposed to international brands that can link with the Saudi brand. And also I'm consulting for them, and I'm helping them in create like an hybrid between European and US brands that can be in the same environment as local brands in terms of DNA, in terms of philosophy, and also in terms of average prices when it comes to clothing, footwear, or accessories in general. So it's a very peculiar department, multi-brand store. Pattern is also a concept based on local Saudi brands selected from the Saudi 100 initiative, which is the initiative patronaged by the Fashion Commission. So it's basically about the visibility of the Saudi brands that are also showing in the Riyadh Fashion Week, which is the major show here in Riyadh already at the third edition this month of October, which is going to be pretty much in the same date as we are going to hold the Saudi lifestyle week. Debenhams, okay. I think you know about Debenhams. There's no need to introduce Debenhams, as well as Marks and Spencer, which are here in Riyadh in a few malls. Instead, I would love to introduce Personage, which is another very peculiar multi-brand store First, because it was founded by a member of the royal family, so it's very well established, and secondly, because it is in an area which is one of the emerging areas here in Riyadh. It's the JAX district, JAX district, which is an ex-industrial area that is being gentrified, you know, the same as what happening and what happened before in European capitals or in New York. You know, it's a gentrified area at the border of the city, and which is now pretty hip and pretty cool for restaurants, for stores as Personage, and there's also the Biennale. So it's kind of a art, music, and fashion vibe. There's also the Beast House, which is the co-working space of the Generation Z community here in Riyadh. And at night, it's the best famous nightclub here in the city. So the area is definitely an up-and-coming, happening area. And Personage is a store that is carrying both local and both international brands. Let's go to Urban Lot. That's a multi-brand store located in Al Malka district, which is the best and the most affluent residential area now in Riyadh. It's in the north side of Riyadh. And the Urban Lot has a vibe that is kind of vintage vibe. So if you have brands that are attached to vintage, you know, like kind of thrift store, you know, that kind of vibe, Urban Lot is definitely a destination for those kind of brands. Okay, so now we are getting to the two most new and luxury mall in Riyadh, Via Riyadh and Solitaire. Via Riyadh inaugurated like 2 years ago, and it's a very luxury mall at the border of the diplomatic quarter area. It is a destination definitely for the HRH, so his or her Highness Royal, because it's a discreet place. It's mostly, the shopping is mostly happening at night because of the discreet crowd. And you will not see any, you know, many crowd in the mall, but it's kind of really private shopping and on appointment mall based off. Also the football players, you know, the wives of the football players are coming here because they don't want to be in the crowd, you know, because then everybody wants to greet them and wants to take autograph from them. So it's kind of a really discreet and high-end place. Also home to the St. Regis Hotel, which is the most exclusive hotel in Riyadh, together with the Ritz-Carlton, which is also near the mall. The Solitaire Mall is the mall that just inaugurated in a soft way 3 weeks ago, and it can be compared to the Dubai Mall in Dubai. Has got the same Fashion Avenue sector, the same hard luxury sector. So really, the high-end brands and high-end F&B kind of situation. We're getting now to the classic and traditional mall in Riyadh that are located in the old Riyadh, so in the really center of the metropole. Al Mamlaka Mall is the Kingdom Center Mall located in the Kingdom Tower. And Al Mamlaka has got an addition recently, a couple of years ago, of a food area at the second floor, which absolutely added an added value and more crowd and more experience to the mall, which is a pretty much classic mall, as Alpha Isalia is also. That is a classic mall that is home to Harvey Nichols that I mentioned before. And you can definitely have a look at all the brands that they have. This is also pretty much high-end mall. Nakheel Mall is probably the biggest and the most familiar, as I can say, because it's most basic on the family shopping and movies like family for kids. So it's kind of a really family situation, especially now during Ramadan. It is the mall that is more traffic at night. Riyadh Park is also one of the best mall in the city. It's a very elegant mall, especially when it comes to the beauty and perfume section. F&B section is also impressive, and they also have a few brands, particularly in the sportswear sector, as Nike, Adidas, Lululemon, and all the major sportswear brands. I guess back to you, Enrico, just in case there are questions then.
Thank you, Giovanni, for your witness about how is going on in the wholesale and the latest shopping mall there are opening in the last months and the last year in the kingdom. The last Riyadh Park Mall, it was the one where we went together with Manfred and all the other European Fashion and Footwear Association during the institutional visit organized last month of October. I think it could be very useful before go on the details about the trade show, if there is any, let me say, other witness or a question about the distribution field for the fashion in Saudi Arabia. So I think this is the right time also for Mr. Strober to give his witness or put some topic on the table to share with all the other company.
Okay. Thank you very much, Enrico and Giovanni, first of all, for your inside view of the Saudi Arabian market and the newest developments. And as you said, I think it's time for Mr. Ströber maybe to talk a little bit about his experiences in the country, even if the developments are very fast and fast moving. And then I'm sure, Enrico, you will tell us more details about the fair and about the event in October this year. Ja, ich wechsle mal kurz jetzt wieder ins Deutsche. Sie haben ja jetzt so ein paar Informationen über Saudi-Arabien, über die Entwicklungen da, auch über die Handelslandschaft, über die neuesten Mall-Entwicklungen und Handelsentwicklungen gehört. Und bevor wir dann noch in die Details für die Messe einsteigen und noch mehr Details dazu hören, wäre jetzt die Möglichkeit einmal für Sie, Herr Ströber, vielleicht noch mal ein bisschen aus der Schule zu plaudern, was Sie erlebt haben, was Sie sagen können aus Ihren Erfahrungen, wenngleich sich da natürlich sehr viel, sehr schnell tut und nächstes Jahr schon alles wieder anders ist. Aber das kennen Sie wahrscheinlich. Vielleicht können Sie noch ein bisschen aus Ihrer Sicht ergänzen. Und dann würde ich sagen, können wir auch mal gucken, ob Fragen sind zu dem, was wir jetzt gehört haben, oder Fragen zum saudischen Markt. Herr Ströber, wollen Sie dann erstmal ein paar Sätze sagen? Können Sie aber noch nicht. Mikro einschalten? Kein Ton. Enrico, is something you can do?
English.
Yes.
Now, next question, Mr. Strobel.
Yes,
Yeah.
please go on in English, please.
Yes.
We cannot hear you. Probably you have to switch on the volume because now your microphone is switched on.
It's open, yeah.
No, not now. You should open your microphone, please.
Il volume non possiamo noi alzarlo da qua, vero?
We cannot hear you.
No, magari c'era impostato quello
Könnt ihr
sbagliato.
mich hören?
Yeah,
Super.
yeah, super.
Jetzt funktioniert
Now we
glaub
can
ich,
hear
ja.
you. Yeah.
Das ist die
Jetzt
Kamera, Mikrofon, ja. Ist okay. Oh, oh.
Giovanni, chiudi il tuo, se no c'è l'eco.
Okay, okay, okay.
Also von meiner Seite kann ich natürlich berichten, dass ich schon lange Jahre mit Saudi-Arabien Geschäfte mache. Wobei auf der anderen Seite ist es natürlich so, dass wir als orthopädische Zubehörfirma, die lose Einlagenschuhe produziert, natürlich auch immer im Grunde genommen, das sind individuelle Schuhe, das sind Anfragen von Kunden, die ihre Schuhe haben wollen und direkt praktisch auch bei uns bestellen. Für sich ist der ganze Prozess für sich seit 2019, kurz vor Corona, durch das neue Salem-Zertifikation extrem mühsam geworden. Also da trauen wir uns ja fast nicht, im Grunde genommen den Import noch zu organisieren. Schaffen wir eigentlich auch nicht. Die wollen TÜV-Zertifizierungen. Jedes Modell, jede Form muss geprüft werden. Also da muss man schon die Importbestimmungen genau angucken. Ich selber war schon in Riyadh, aber nie auf einer Messe. Also ich muss auch sagen, ich habe meinen Kontakt damals bei der guten alten GDS noch hergestellt. Da ist alles über die deutsche Messe noch gelaufen. Die Kunden, die ich jetzt aus Riyadh oder aus Saudi-Arabien kenne, sind alle extrem gut vernetzt, wissen ganz genau, wie es auf dem Markt eigentlich läuft und suchen sich ihre Kunden in dem Sinn ganz klar aus, auch wie sie Geschäfte machen und suchen sich dementsprechend auch ihre Lieferanten aus und gehen mit denen direkt auf die Lieferanten auch zu und bauen über den Weg eigentlich ihre Beziehung auf. Wie so eine Messe jetzt für mich mehr oder weniger das Ganze nochmal voranbringen soll, weiß ich nicht. Wie es der Herr Juncker gesagt hat, alles ändert sich, alles verschiebt sich, kann es sein, dass es hilfreich ist. Aber die Malls, die Einkäufer, die ich kenne, mit denen ich zu tun hatte, die wissen eigentlich sehr genau, was und wie sie arbeiten wollen. Also so viel kann ich nur sagen, dass Saudi-Arabien vielleicht weit weg ist, aber die wissen über uns ganz genau Bescheid, wer was ist.
Ja, vielen Dank, Herr Stöber. Das war schon mal ganz interessant und auch authentisch, wenn Sie da so Ihre Erfahrungen berichten. Jetzt würde ich mal vorschlagen, wenn Fragen sind, Sie hatten ja auch erwähnt, das Importverfahren mit Salem, da kann vielleicht Enrico auch noch was dazu sagen später. Vielleicht mal in die Runde geguckt, gibt es denn Fragen an den Enrico oder an Herrn Stöber? Oh, can you see whether there are questions?
Ci sono domande, Christian? No,
Maybe
right
better
now
than-
there are no questions. So I believe
No
we can
question.
go on with the presentation and
Yes.
maybe come to the question after the
Yeah, later.
presentation.
Yes, I
Yeah.
would say.
Thank you, Mr. Schroeder. Yeah.
Yes. As I mentioned at the beginning of our presentation, since now there was not any kind of international trade show focused on fashion. So for that reason, the government, through the Ministry of Culture, asked us to introduce this new event. For that reason, we have collected the partnership of all the international fashion and shoes federation in the key country in the western part of the world. So like the German Footwear Association, we set a partnership also with the Spanish, with the Portugal, with the Italian, of course, with French and with the UK in Europe. As well, we did a partnership of the Ministry of Economic in Turkey. So that's was, let me say, the major country that will be represented in terms of federation in fashion and shoes, and represented also through the participation of their members. So Germany will be not alone, but it will be, let me say, accompanied to the other competitive European players, of course. So just talk about the concept of our trade show. Saudi Lifestyle Week, as I mentioned to you, will be held as a first edition from 6 to 8 October 2025. These dates are, let me say, at the end of the European calendar of the main trade show in shoes and fashion in Milan, Düsseldorf, Berlin, and Paris and London, but not far from, let me say, the sales campaign for that season. So we've put this date to allow the producer to pick up some order also during our trade show before going to the production to, let me say, confirm the delivery of products to the shop in the right time. So for that reason, we put these dates, and these dates, as Giovanni mentioned to you before, are the same dates in which the Riyadh Fashion Week, deeply focused on local designer, will be held. So why we put together fashion, sport, and design? Because in that part of the world, in terms of, let me say, local prospect buyer and distributor, there are a lot of synergy because there are a lot of huge group behind that work in this moment deeply in the develop of lifestyle new business. Of course, our focus market will be Saudi, that, as I mentioned to you at the beginning of the presentation, could be enough big because in terms of population, in terms of surface, could be compared like 1/3 of European countries. And then, of course, the acquisition in terms of local exhibitors and local visitor will be extended also to the other GCC country like Qatar, Emirates, and Bahrain. So it's important to understand that we have always to consider this like a circular platform, because this event will let fashion ecosystem from the international company to the Saudi player. And when we are talking about Saudi player in fashion in Saudi, comparing with all the other countries of the GCC, where we are just talking about lending markets, Saudi Arabia could be perceived like the only one country in that part of the world where the whole fashion ecosystem is going to develop from producer to the distribution. So this is important because there will be opportunity in several layers for the wholesale, for the retail, for white label business, and there's in terms of supplier for apparel, textile, and shoes. In the kingdom, there is an authority that is going to develop, as Giovanni probably mentioned to you before, talking about a specific concept of multi-brand shop. There is an authority behind the Ministry of Culture, that is Saudi Fashion Commission. Saudi Fashion Commission is the one in charge to let's develop the mentoring program that is 100 Saudi brand, deeply focused in let's develop Saudi designers and Saudi manufacturers. to, let me say, promote the local producer and the local designer abroad. They did a lot of operation in Milan, in Paris, in New York as well, creating a dedicated showroom or a dedicated event during the local fashion week in Paris, Milan, and New York. They already approached the luxury department store in Europe, like La Samaritaine in Paris or Printemps. Now they did a partnership with Harrods and Selfridges in UK. So they are, let me say, deeply focused on the outgoing process of their talents. From the other part, there is inside the kingdom the Riyadh Fashion Week, always focus in let me say, put under the spotlight the showcase about local designer. For that reason, we say the government and the Ministry of Culture that is behind Saudi Fashion Commission welcome our and ask for our, let me say, format, because is not overlapping what they are already did with the Saudi Fashion Commission, but could be, let me say, strategic and synergic together with all the activities that the kingdom is going to run by themselves, because we will bring, let me say, the international parts, and we will give to them the opportunity to approach a typical B2B trade show format, because in general, in all the Arabic country, when we are talking about fashion events, they are just related to, let me say, a VIP format that includes fashion show, VIP dinner, and that's it. So what they would like and what they ask is create a B2B platform where the international company can meet the local distributors, local wholesaler, and local investors, because of course, Saudi Arabia is a huge country. There are a lot of players, but just the 20% of this player has the habits to go abroad and visit the international trade shows. So there is, let me say, a chance of 80% of the distribution field that is quite virgin, and they need to be approached at their own country with the international brands. For that reason, we are creating this format. So Saudi fashion, talking about Saudi fashion specifically, we are covering the full range of fashion, so apparel, underwear, beachwear, footwear, accessories for men, women, and kids, and also textile. There is a huge interest from the textile side, so because, of course, as all the local producer and the local designer will be invited as exhibitor and visitor at the same time, there is a huge opportunity for textile to present the collection, the international collection, to this kind of audience. For that reason, Milano Unica and Proposte set a partnership with us, and they will create a group exhibition for the Italian company belonging to the home textile and to the fashion textile. This is just an information that I would like that Manfred maybe can communicate to your colleague about textile mode. Okay, thank you so much. And what about target visitor? We are talking about the full range of buyer and distributor coming not only from Saudi Kingdom, but coming from all the GCC countries like Qatar, Bahrain, and Emirates. Let's go in details about the proposal of our trade show. We give to the exhibitor the opportunity to buy a full package that includes a raw space and also the stand decoration, the functional stand decoration that allow you to come and bring your collection and just set up your collection at the booth. We have two different kind of, let me say, layout. This is the basic one, the standard one, and this is the premium one. Of course, we can share with you also prices, so just to give you an idea, but I think that the most part of you already receive from our sales colleague all the information related to prices and applications. So here we are. I don't know if you can see from the screen. These are, let me say, the prices. Of course, we devise also the opportunity to come with the raw space, but I don't think that for the first edition of the trade show, there is any kind of company that would like to bring his own boat decoration and buy just the raw space. So I think that it could be very, very important to let notice to you that we are on the market with an early bird price. The deadline of the early bird period is at the end of March, and we offer the standard share scheme with a minimum size of 12 square meters at 535 euro per square meters, including raw space and standard stand fitting. The premium solution, it's quite more expensive, but not so much. And the package, including the stand fitting in the premium solution, is 643 euro per square meters. After the end of March, we will go on with the sales, of course, as this is a first edition, and the price will be, let me say, increase for the 10%. Yeah. So this is just to give you an idea about the cost. Here are the two solutions. So after this webinar, we will send to you the PowerPoint presentation with all the store check and the presentation of all the case history we share with you, and also our sales application form. During our visit at all the trade show that happened in the last 2 months, we reached several German shoe company, and there are a lot of interest in participating. So it could be very nice, I think, to collect in one group all the German footwear company, just to, let me say, put the right flag at the first edition and let me say, present themselves to this important and prominent market as a huge group of German footwear company.
Okay, Enrico, I think you are through with your presentation. Thank you very much. It was quite impressive, all the information you've shown us and told us about Saudi and development there and about your plans. And I switch to German again. Vielleicht für alle jetzt in die Runde. Ich denke, Sie haben jetzt alle die Möglichkeit, auch mal direkt die eine oder andere Frage hier schon loszuwerden. Natürlich ist das ganze Team von Enrico auch weiter in Kontakt und an dem Projekt und auch mit Ihnen dann in Kontakt, wenn Sie Fragen haben. Aber Sie können jetzt gerne noch Fragen loswerden, vielleicht auch Fragen, die alle interessieren können. Wir haben noch ein bisschen Zeit, gleich wird schon eine Stunde unterwegs sind. Simona,
yes, of course,
do you have any question?
We would like to give you the chance. If you have any question, of course, we can translate, thanks to Simona, from German to English, and that has the chance to pass the tongue to Giovanni, that is, let me say, heavy heavy user of the distribution system in fashion in Saudi. So there is a question from Mr. I don't see there is a yes, Mr. Strömer would like to yes to
Ja, vielleicht die Frage in die Runde unserer anderen Schuhhersteller. Wer ist denn schon in Saudi-Arabien unterwegs? Also wer verkauft oder wer geht auf eine Messe? Und die freche Frage gefragt, wer wäre denn interessiert an so einer Messe, wie sie gerade vorgestellt wird, gerne teilzunehmen?
Allora Giovanni, il signor Strober chiede chi c'è già che va ad una fiera lì in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, magari bisogna ripetere che non c'è una fiera già come prima, e le aziende, insomma, quali sono i tipi di aziende che possono andare in termini di scarpe alla manifestazione. Ich habe an Giovanni übersetzt und er wird jetzt antworten.
Okay, so this is the really first B2B trade show in the fashion, sportswear and design sectors here in Saudi Arabia. So this is the very first chance to be part of this show, because nothing of this has happened before, and this is a very crucial moment to be now, because this is the very right moment, because now we are really in the decisive and in the second phase of the Vision 2030 program, and fashion and retail and fashion is a really important space inside of the Vision 2030, because it's part of the differentiation that that KSA wants to give and wants to have beside of oil and gas. So this is the reason why this is the time. This is the time now, because the pioneer era has gone, and now we are really in the moment which the retail is bearing the fruit of all the pioneering era, and also makes sense to have a B2B trade show like this, because this is the time now to make business, to have business, because the market is ready, the market is open, it's pretty much open, and not yet, but not yet. There's still like a gap, like a void to fill. So we believe that this is the right time to embark on this B2B show, because I'm seeing that the retail already is developing and is working like never before in the past 2 or 3 years. After pandemic, the retail is really in a good shape and in a good situation now to fly, and so yes, so they're just waiting for the opportunities are here. So we're just waiting for who is coming to get them. And in terms of the accessories, am I right, Simona? Shoes and accessories, that was the question.
Just to add something, because as Giovanni mentioned, and as everybody knows, this is the first edition. At that period of our sales campaign, we already received 30 applications from a fashion company, and within the end of the month, relating to the early bird prices, we are waiting about other 150 applications. Just to give you the idea about how many companies we will bring at the trade show as the first edition. So there is a huge interest.
Thank you, Enrico, for giving us a few figures about the interest at the moment. Simona, do you want to add something?
Mr. Lacatena raised his hand.
Yes, I've seen Giovanni. Another Giovanni is asking for his word.
Just a second, Mr. Giovanni. We cannot hear you.
Could you switch on your microphone, please, Mr. Giovanni?
No, sorry. First of all, thank you for the interesting presentation of the group of honegger and Giovanni directly from there. My questions are probably I missed. Where is the area of the exhibition? Which part of the city? Is it an exhibition
Yes,
area? Or?
you are right. I share again because we have, let me say, missed this part of the presentation. So we are talking about Rijek. Rijek venue is let me say, the most renewed trade show venue in the city center of Riyadh. For that edition of Saudi Lifestyle Week, we have rent 2 pavilion, the 4 and 3. So in total, we are talking about gross space 6,000 square meters that are 4,500 net space, ideally divided in 2,000 and 400 square meters dedicated to fashion, including apparel and shoes and accessories. There will be a bridge area between fashion and design where we will put a textile because, as I mentioned to you before, there is a lot of interest from textile producer for apparel textile, home textile, and also technical textile. There will be linked to the fashion, the sportswear area that will host not only athleisure and sneakers, but also technical stuffs in terms of garment, equipment, and accessories for many sports disciplines that are really demanding in the kingdom at the moment. And there will be, last but not least, the design side where we will host company that produce accessorize and furnishing for home. Of course, this is the whole concept, but the venue is that one. If some of you is already familiar with Riyadh, this is let me say, the most famous and renewed location for the B2B trade show in Riyadh city center.
Okay. The first question. Second question is going in the direction of Giovanni over there. Mainly the business is in the malls, of course, and there are a lot of mono brands stores from a lot of brands worldwide. The really multi-brand shoe retail is small, yes?
It is growing. It used to be small, as you probably know, but there's a swifting change regarding the retail scenario here in Riyadh, because of course it's about malls, definitely, but it's also about different retail areas, because we are assisting at new areas that are up and coming, like Leysen Valley, like Jack's district. So there are open areas with avenues and with the streets that you would probably be surprised, to see here. But just also think that Riyadh, of course, it's scorching hot in the summer, but in the winter, the weather is pretty mild. I mean, it's there's a winter season. There's a winter season in Riyadh, which can be, down to 5 degrees at night. So it's not the European winter, but still it's winter on Middle East parameters. So Riyadh is in a situation that in the winter you can walk in the streets. And so that's why new neighborhoods like Al Malka, like Leysen Valley. Leysen Valley, it's an amazing new neighborhood at the border of the diplomatic quarter, which is has the feeling as Beverly Hills, which small streets and avenues. And just to give you a hint, it's the headquarter of BlackRock, of Roche, is in Leysen Valley. So there are stores, there are F&B, And also Jack's District, I was describing before, maybe you were not here yet, but Jack's District is a former industrial area which has been refurbished and gentrified, and now it's a really hip and community-based Generation Z area with art, fashion, and music all together. So Riyadh is really in a time that is taking the leap to be an international metropole from here to 2030, because 2030 is going to house the Expo. So that's the time for now to 2030 to really push on everything, and fashion is part of this new scenario. And so for shoes, there are really a lot of opportunities from the medium-low range price to the high-end range price, because of course, depending on the mall, on the streets where you are, but then there are chances, and there are, again, not just monobrand stores, but also here are coming now, like the concept of the multi-brand store is coming. And that's why I'm here, because I was one of the, of the pioneers 3 years ago to bring the first concepts of multi-brand stores in Riyadh, bringing European and US brands here. So yeah, there are concept stores that you can definitely check in the presentation that I was describing before. They're like Personage, like Pattern, like Urban Lot. And these people are traveling. These people are going to Pitti. These people are going to Milan, are searching in Paris. So there's an international mindset, And beside of these, there are multiple potential buyers. So that's why we definitely believe that this is an unmissable chance at the right time in 2025 to start to have great business here for the first come, first served. This is what I can tell.
Oh, thank you for the answer. For multi-brand is clear, and I'm from Wortmann Group. We are running mono-brand stores with our Tamari shoes. So I think there are both possibilities then. Also to install mono-brand stores, European mono-brand stores. I think the culture is searching for this, and also multi-brand. Okay, thank you for your answers.
Shopping. Yeah, I'm thinking of shop as well. That's also an option, because if you, I'm thinking at Harvey Nichols or Westerly, this is a kind of situation where a shop can be negotiate with them, because they are open to do it now. They have the international mindset to discuss something like this. Definitely.
Thank you.
Welcome.
There is another question from Mr. Torben Schulz. Thank you. Could you switch on your microphone, please?
Yes. Hello. I have like information for the German companies, so I will switch to German. Ja, ich hätte noch einen Hinweis für Sie hinsichtlich einer möglichen Unterstützungsvariante für eine Auslandsmessebeteiligung, und zwar auf Ebene der Bundesländer. Verschiedene einzelne Bundesländer haben Förderprogramme für eine Auslandsmessebeteiligung bei einer Einzelteilnahme, und zwar Rheinland-Pfalz und Hessen sind so Beispiele. Und das wäre hier eine Variante, die Sie hier in Anspruch nehmen könnten. Also zu Rheinland-Pfalz kann ich Ihnen gerade Folgendes sagen, dass dieses Messeprogramm, da gibt es im Falle von Rheinland-Pfalz bis 3.000 € Unterstützung, die Sie bekommen. Dieses Programm ist aber sehr stark nachgefragt, weshalb es da nur aktuell eine Förderung garantiert ist fürs erste Halbjahr. Also ich würde Ihnen da nochmal empfehlen, dass Sie da vielleicht nochmal nachschauen, ob es nochmal gewisse Fördermöglichkeiten gibt fürs zweite Halbjahr. Beim Land Hessen gab es bislang, also da gibt es auch diese Einzelförderung. Bei verschiedenen anderen Bundesländern wurden diese Unterstützungsmöglichkeiten zurückgezogen. Wir als HDSL würden über Rundschreiben nochmal informieren über diese Variante einer Einzelförderung in verschiedenen Bundesländern. Also das gibt es das ist global. Ja, genau. Also das ist immer nochmal hier eine gute Möglichkeit, die Sie nutzen können. Ja, ich würde mich kurz noch nebenbei vorstellen. Mein Name ist Torben Schütz. Ich bin stellvertretender Hauptgeschäftsführer des HDSL seit 1. Februar und freue mich auf die Zusammenarbeit.
This is a
Vielen Dank,
very
Herr
great
Schütz.
news. I would like to thank you for sharing with us, because also other country from their federation and from their Ministry of Economy, even if this, let me say, this trade show will be part of this year and not the next year, and we are talking about the first edition, all the other country has the chance to go directly to knock the door to the Ministry of Economy to say, please give us the support in this market, because this is very demanding, and for the company at the moment, considering what happens in Russia, what happens in US and in our country, could be, let me say, the right way to create a new business for our company.
Okay, thank you, Enrico, and thank you, Mr. Schütz, for this hint. I think it's very important. And Enrico, Mr. Schütz talked about the different possibilities of support from the German regions. You know, we are a federal state, and though they are, it's a kind of network of support, and maybe there's a chance to get support for this fair as well on a state level, I would say.
Thank you.
Federal level. We try, and we give more information about our companies in the following after our meeting today. Enrico, I would like to ask you, looking to the time, I think we are almost at the end. I think we've heard a lot, and I cannot see any questions. Do you see anybody who wants to know something more?
No, for now, there are no questions anymore.
No other question, but we will send, of course, the recording version of this webinar together with the application form, the presentation of our project that we share with you. And I would like to ask Manfred if you can also add as important note this news that your colleague share right now with us about the opportunity to get, let me say, a support from your federal states. So it could be interesting to collect all this information and spread out to all the company that attended today and all the other company that missed this webinar, but they are interested in the project as well.
Sure, Enrico, we will.
Ja, Marc, ich wollte dir nur sagen, dass du kannst auch meine E-Mail-Adresse geben. Also wenn jemand auf Deutsch eine E-Mail mir schicken möchte, dann bin ja meine E-Mail-Adresse. Also Christian schreibt gerade meine Adresse. Und wenn jemand eine Frage mir stellen möchte, dann bin ich gerne bereit, also zur Verfügung.
Ja,
und mein
vielen
Team
Dank.
spricht auch Deutsch, also kein Problem.
Vielen Dank. Also wir werden alle Informationen, die wir von euch bekommen, an die Mitglieder weitergeben. Die Präsentation von heute, die Preisliste, aber auch natürlich die Information, was der Schütz sagte, über die Fördermöglichkeiten. Und vielleicht noch ergänzend dazu, wir haben ja im Call einige Firmen aus dem Modebereich. Wir werden natürlich auch die Kollegen von Textil, German Fashion, von Gesamtmasche, von anderen Kollegenverbänden aus dem Bereich Textil informieren und auf den Laufenden halten. Und wäre schön, wenn dann im Herbst eine tolle Veranstaltung in Riad stattfindet mit einer großen Beteiligung aus Europa. Und damit.
Yes, but sorry, yes. Manfred. Last but not least, we have a request from Mrs. Sylvia Jungbauer. She asked if there is any possibility to cooperate also with other associations representing textile and fashion. So I pass the talk to Manfred, and you have the task to talk with your colleague.
Yes, it's just what I just said. I will inform the associations from the textile side and from textile and fashion. And of course, Sylvia, you get all the information. We are in close contact anyway. So that's for sure. So at the end, I'd like to thank all of you for attending the meeting, for your attention. And of course, mainly Enrico, Simona, and Giovanni in Riyadh. Thank you for your input and all the information you gave to us. And let's stay in contact. And have a good time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Danke an alle.
Bye.
Tschüss.
Thank you and bye.
Bye.